You're listening to the Traffic and Conversion Show. I'm your host, Michelle Fernandez, and today I'm sharing quarterly planning to increase conversions in 2023. So stay tuned. Welcome back to the show. We are heading into quarter three, like 2023 is flying by. And today we're diving into quarterly planning specifically for your marketing campaigns. And what I love about planning is that no matter what you have done so far, or maybe what you haven't done yet, it's an opportunity for you to check in, right? Realign with whatever you set out to do in the beginning of the year. Really celebrate all the things that you've accomplished, no matter how big or how small, right? And really create possibilities for moving forward. Now, it is not the time for you to beat yourself up or get down on yourself. Like, really, none of that serves you. The actions or the inactions that you take from that vibe definitely is not going to move you to the places that you don't even have an idea that's even possible for you right now. It is the time for you to get present to what actually is going on and face it head on, right? Sometimes it's like scary or like or eek, right? It's like, all the emotions that can come out. But here's the thing, once you know, and once you actually look at it, you can move forward with the energy and the focus that you need. A few years ago, my husband and I were pretty bad in debt, right? And I was like, oh, monthly payment after monthly payment. I'm like, this is a lot. We knew it's bad. So one day I was just like, you know what? I'm going to add all this up and I'm going to come up with a plan to pay it off. And I got so excited with the number. I ran out and I told him, and he was like so grumpy. And he was like, oh my gosh, it was a little depressing, a lot depressing, right? It's like, how are we ever going to get out of this? And, and I was just like, oh my gosh, it's this number, da da da. And he's like, why are you so excited about it? I'm like, because we knew it was bad, but now we know the number. And now I just put in some numbers that if we paid this much off, or we stopped going out to eat here, or whatever, we can pay it off in this time frame, right? And as I was explaining things to him, he was like, oh yeah, okay, it sounds bad, but it's not so bad. And now that we have a plan in place and we know what we're going to do, it becomes more exciting, even the worst thing ever, right? And I'm sure being in debt is not the worst thing ever, but it was for us at the time. Okay. Well, here's the thing. You are a leader. So this is the opportunity to remind yourself of your long-term vision for your company or your business, right? It's your time to rally the team and get them to drink your Kool-Aid, right? And be on board with this vision that you have, right? And then be able to delegate initiatives and campaigns to achieve your goals. Make sense? Okay. I hope you're excited. Let's dive in. Now, when I am doing quarterly planning for my clients, we start with reconnecting with those long-term goals. Okay, so specifically, what is your 2-year vision, right? So just for a minute, imagine it's 2 years from today and we're popping bottles, right? Celebrating the success that you've had both in your business and in your life, because we all know that we are doing this business to have a better life, or a crazy cool life, as I'm calling it, okay? So where are you on this day today, 2 years from now? And what has happened over the last 2 years to make it crazy cool, right? So be very specific, paint a clear picture for yourself. We're talking like, what revenue did you bring in? Maybe what new products or services did you release? What does your team look like, right? Did you speak on stages? Did you write a book? Did you host an event? Like, what is all this looking like for you, including what vacations did you take, or what car or house or whatever it is that you want in your crazy cool life? What does all that look like for you? So no matter what quarter you happen to be listening to this, or what year you happen to be listening to this, and maybe you've never done this exercise, I highly encourage you to go back and do it. Or maybe you've done this 2 years ago or 5 years ago, and maybe now your vision has changed. So from this moment, what is your 2-year vision? Okay. And really make it clear of what it looks like. Okay. So I would first go back to that and really see like, okay, Am I still aligned? Are these still the things that I want? Do I want more, right? Am I in a different position now that I know I have more confidence that I can get more? What does that look like for you? Okay. Then it's time to review the last 90 days of data. This is where you should, and if you haven't been, no worries. Remember, we're starting from a clear state from today. What we want to do is we want to look at, like, what were those metrics? What KPIs were you tracking? What did those look like? Did you hit your goals? Did you hit specific numbers? What was your return on your ad spend? What was your profit? What was your cost per lead? Or how much did it cost you to acquire a customer, right? Did people open your emails and did they click on them? If you're running SEO, like, what do those stats look like? How many website visitors? All that good stuff, okay? So what were all those metrics? What did that look like? Then you're going to ask yourself 3 questions, especially specific to your marketing campaign. So all those KPIs should be on the marketing campaigns you ran. So you want to ask yourself 3 questions. What worked? What didn't? And what might you do different next time? Okay, so next quarter. So it's really sitting down and being honest with yourself, right? And this should definitely be a conversation with the team, because they will have some good insight or input to share as well, especially if they were involved with whatever campaigns were going on, if they were involved with the customer experience or the sales process, whatever that looks like. This needs to be a team conversation. Can you do things on your own, right? To make sure, like, okay, maybe the team member wasn't best. Maybe what we do different next time is get rid of that team member, right? So there could be 2 conversations, one that you have with yourself where you're getting clear, and then another one where you include the team in that conversation, and see how your answers either aligned or didn't, right? And maybe they came up with something different. And I would definitely encourage you to document this on a Google Doc so you can go back and reference this to see if you're repeating some of the same things, maybe that are not working, right? Or things that maybe you said, oh, I'm going to do this different next time, but you fell back into old habits. So what is it looking like from quarter to quarter or month to month, right? And how have you progressed? Or how have you progressed? Like, oh, we did these things and now, wow, look at these numbers. Or wait, we thought this would be different and we would get better results, but we didn't. We had better results in quarter 2 or quarter 1. Let's go back to doing some things, okay? Okay, so once we reviewed all the KPIs and goals, now we're looking to see, like, what projects were completed and were not completed, okay? So I'm looking at this, including the marketing chart, right? The organizational chart. So this is also a great time to make sure that the right person is in the right seat, and also to see who your next hire will be for the marketing department. Okay, so you want to be looking like, hey, wait, is there a missing link in here? Okay, so for example, let's say you weren't running Facebook ads before, and now you're ready to scale, or now you're ready to say, okay, I'm looking to now run Facebook ads. So it might be looking for a contractor to hire, or maybe someone to bring on full-time on the team, or it could possibly be buying a course to train someone on the team to do that job. Okay, so really dive in and looking at everything that worked, didn't, and include your team. Okay, now this is where the fun part comes in. Okay, with your 2-year vision in mind, what are the immediate next steps to make sure that you are on track to hit those goals or those targets, those outcomes, whatever you want to call it, over the next 90 days? So what are the 1 to 3 things that you must accomplish over the next 90 days? Okay, so I want you to picture a spreadsheet with columns, right? So the first column, this is a great way, and the way I'm telling you is a great way for the team buy-in, right? For them to drink the Kool-Aid and really have an understanding, especially if you're going to be cross-training anyone. Everybody kind of understands what each target is for, okay? So picture the spreadsheet. Now, the first column, we're going to say, okay, which area of marketing are we building? So is it sales, SEO? Is it the CRM? Maybe it's coming up with strategy, right? Increasing lifetime customer value, whatever it is, okay? Next column, you're going to decide what is the ideal outcome for the next 90 days. So it's not just like, hey, I'm going to sell my widget, right? It's I'm going to drive traffic to sell 200 widget sales by September 30th, right? So get very clear on this and not go too crazy with the outcome, right? As much as we want to have these huge numbers, we don't want to be so far off that the team and you get discouraged because you didn't hit it, right? So what happens is we constantly set these super, super high goals, then they're like, wait a minute, I think that she's a little crazy. We don't want to drink the Kool-Aid anymore, right? So it becomes a more hurtful thing. You want them to be like, oh, we're so close. And even if you still don't hit it, but you're, 20 off versus 2,000 off. You get what I'm saying? Okay. So the next column is what makes this outcome critical to the success of the business. Now, this question is really designed to remind you and your team the purpose of these projects, okay? So then that way you are moving forward day to day and really reviewing the metrics. So you can say, okay, is this getting me more and more sales? Meaning, if you are not doing something every single day to hit this target and you're getting distracted or shiny object, this will allow you to come back, okay? Now, next column is how is success going to be measured? So what KPIs are you putting in place to measure the success, and what weekly numbers are going to be required for you to achieve the outcome? Because remember, we're planning these 90 days and then we're planning these weekly sprints for the 90 days, okay? So now you're gonna list all the tasks that you need to accomplish this goal or this outcome. And then lastly, the last column is who is responsible for driving the outcome. So there could be somebody that maybe is a manager that's going to be responsible for the team and not the actual person doing themselves. So you need to figure out who the owner of that is going to take responsibility, whether you succeed or fail, okay? I hope that you are taking notes because this will make or break the success of your quarter. Now, the next step isn't something I always did, and I found this makes a huge difference, and it's called the conflict conversation. And I just need to figure out another name because it just sounds negative, right? However, it's vital to your success. Do you have the capacity and capabilities on the team to achieve the outcome goals? So now that you've mapped everything out, do you have the capacity, the bandwidth, right? And going back to the earlier step where you have identified your next hire, or do you have the right person in the right seat, right? Is this still the next hire based on what you've said your outcomes, right? So maybe it's someone else, or do you need to start, the search for looking for someone, okay? Then is the negative visualization. So what is going to stop the team from achieving these outcomes? Okay, so think of whatever could go wrong, right? I know it's terrible to think this way, right? That's why I was always like going towards positive. However, could your ads account get shut down? Maybe a deadline was missed. Maybe a subcontractor didn't work out, or you lost a team member, or just team member turnover. Something happens with your family. Like, what can be done to stop it? What are the things that could go wrong, and what would you do about it? Figuring out the worst case scenario now will make things easier when it does happen, because you're going to be in freak out mode, and figuring out what to do when you're already in freak out mode just piles on the stress and could cause you to shut down. So this is a perfect time to get in front of it. All right. I appreciate you so much for being here with me today. Cheers to planning the next 90 days. I can't wait to see what is going to happen for you. I am so excited for you. Until next time, let's grow your business together.